Tusculum Pioneers and the Catawba Indians for the 25th time this past Saturday from Salisbury, North Carolina. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Stayton, joined by Pioneer coach Jerry Odom. The Pioneers entered in Salisbury and didn't necessarily like what they saw in the first 6 minutes of the contest. Couple of turnovers, 21 points later, the Pioneers found themselves in a hole. They would rally. That rally would fall short in that second half by a final score of 31-28. As mentioned, joined by Pioneer coach Jerry Odom. And again, it's frustrating because we can sit here and talk about, you got to do this, can't do that. Can't have 4 turnovers in a contest and usually survive that game. But, man, you guys gave it your best effort to do that.
Yeah, when you spot somebody 21 points in the first 14 plays of the game, you're usually not going to win the game. But our kids played hard to the end. I challenged them. We're down 31 to 7 in the half. Got a bunch of guys hurt, several guys hurt, especially on defense. And I challenged them to play, come out one play at a time. Let's get back in this thing. And we climbed back in it. We actually had an opportunity to get an onside kick to, hopefully have a chance to win, and just didn't make it. And I think it was about a minute left, and they were able to run the clock out. But, very proud of the way, how hard they played. We just got to stop killing ourselves with, turnovers have not been a huge problem, but they they certainly were Saturday. And then we didn't put out the fire on defense. We got put on the 14 and 15-yard line a couple times, and they had one explosion play on the first drive when we had a backup corner and they didn't crack a place.
It was a game in which Trey Simmons entered in the second half. Weren't sure we were going to have Ivan Corbin, and again, he had been leading the league in passing, but not his best day. And then at halftime, Trey comes in and really kind of probably what you have seen in practice over the last few weeks, and was very composed for a true freshman.
Yeah, I was telling you that. In practice, he's been very, very good. And, with the situation that we were in, Ivan was hurt, not playing his best. I think was pressing a lot. I just felt like, and Coach Dickey came to me and said, hey, what do you think about Trey? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, let's go. If that's what you want to do, I'm behind you. And he played about it how I expected him to play. He's very poised. He went through his progressions well, did a very nice job, and I think the future's bright for that young man.
It's just one of those situations. He comes in and just everything seemed to click, and Justice Parham, again, a kid that just doesn't seem to be covered, made just, remarkable plays. But you wouldn't know it. He is so even-keeled, and it just I like having that type of a player, even though he had the very uncharacteristic drop. He's a guy that just was very, very even-keeled.
Yeah, Justice is just a good football player, and he is that guy. He's right here all the time, and that's just kind of his personality. He's never too high, never too low. He just goes out and plays and gives it his best, and has really played well for us this year, and even last spring, obviously, and I think he's got to be one of the best receivers in this league.
Well, the Pioneers do fall to Catawba. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights from Salisbury, North Carolina, and we'll get into more about Justice Parham and what his game meant in his career at Tusculum as well. Again, a Pioneer football team that goes into that contest at 4-4, and Catawba at 4-2. They do have a couple of COVID games. Now, just the start, just the turnovers, and just the there's already been a fumble and there's already been a touchdown. So this is just kind of the uncharacteristic start for them.
We tried to force it in there. We had the running back wide open. We tried to force it in there. We don't hit it. Then this is third down, and we got a double A gap blitz wide open, and we just whiff. They had a screen on. I probably couldn't have drawn up a better call. We just got to execute it. And give Avon some credit. He did a nice job on that. Really happy for them. Then, once we settled down, this is a third down after we actually got decent field position after the first couple drives. I thought we played, really, really well on defense. I mean, you take away probably 3 or 4 plays, and we've got to get better at that. This was a third down here. Ivan was able to scramble for a first down on a 3rd and 6, I believe. Was able to get a first down, keep the drive going here, and then, throw one. Gets out of the pocket, got Derek Wright, I believe, wide open, falls down at the 2. We're able to punch it in. Really nice job blocking, really kind of walk in right there with, I believe, Gomillion scores right there. And we're able to cut it to, at that point in time, I think, to a 28-7 lead. We were, or 21-7 lead, excuse me.
12 plays, 67 yards, just 4 minutes off the clock. It is 21-7 at this point. And then the explosion play. This is just those things that this kid, Adrian, played much better through this game.
Yeah, John Smith pulled his hamstring. Here's our backup safety. But what you can't see there is we're supposed to be double teaming that kid, and our linebacker just hung him out to dry. We're supposed to be bracketing that guy, so he was playing the outside part of the bracket. When you're playing outside the part of the bracket without an inside player, that's what's going to happen on a guy that can run. So, we went to halftime. We're down 31. I just said, hey, you just got to go one play at a time, and we got to just kind of build this thing back in. And we inserted Trey Simmons in. Thought he played a nice job. But really, offensive line-wise, I thought we played pretty good, really for the game. They had a couple sacks. They had several sacks. Obviously, we want to clean that up. But run blocking, I thought we did a nice job. Trey goes a little quarterback counter, gets a really nice gain right here. Comes over here. We got a zone read. Reads the end. Gets the outside, gets a pretty good block there by Schellenbach, and is able to press it, get vertical, and get into the end zone for a touchdown to get it to 31-14 at this point.
And again, that's the opening drive of the second half. 6 plays, 75 yards. The explosion plays there, the 29-yard run by Trey Simmons. And then the only mistake of this second half, and again, you're going to talk about him about ball security, and this was it.
Yeah, he just got to hold the ball a little bit higher. I mean, that's on, we got to pick up I think our tight end screwed up right there, picking up something, and we got to get the blitz picked up, and they're able to come back, and, we get a tip. They get a big play to get it down there. We get we screwed up a cover 2 blitz, and again with a young safety, but we were able to get, I think Richard Gravel gets his hands on the ball right there, and Witherspoon's able to pick it after a little volleyball action, bump set without the spike. We pick it and able to run it back, gets us going. Right here, get a first down, very close. Got a good spot, honestly, on that play right there. Throw a nice out cut here on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 to sweeper for about a 15-yard play on the for a first down. Like I said, it didn't surprise me. I thought Trey was poised. We gave him time. He went through his progressions, found the open receiver, did a nice job there, finding the crossing route. I think it was Derek Wright on the crossing route, makes a really nice touch throw over the top to Justice Parham for a score. Now it's 31-21, and all of a sudden we're back in this thing.
Justice Parham for his career now goes over 1,000 yards in his Pioneer career, and you tried the little element of surprise here, and this was probably just about 0.2 pounds from being weighted perfectly.
Yeah, we've been working on it all week, and we just didn't quite hit it. So we had a short field. They got one first down, then they go for another 45-yard or 48-yard field goal. We were able to block this. Great press in the middle. It looks like Joaquin Glasgow gets good push, and we get the ball, and then we get a clipping call, right there, which I don't know. It didn't look like much of anything, but they called clipping, so we had to kind of start back. But again, our offense answers the bell, get the ball to Gamillion for a first down, coming out of the backfield. Little play action here. Again, throwing it over the top to Justice with an unbelievable, gets his foot in right there after getting undressed, really at the line of scrimmage. I had to go pull a shoulder pad back on him, but it was unbelievable.
Look how excited you are.
Yeah, that's about as good as it gets for me right there, boys. We get that, and then we take another shot here, and this one, that one really we'd had about 6-7 minutes left, and we were right back in it at that point. It would have been 31-28, with plenty of time left. We end up, I think, still scoring on this drive, but it takes 2 or 3 more minutes to get it. Like, here's a 4th down throw right here, really nice throw, and then we get the touchdown right here to Gamillion on a little rub play, and but now it's about 3 minutes left in the game. I got 2 timeouts trying to stop them. We end up stopping them, initially, or no, they go for the onside. Yeah. We just don't have the extra timeout to get it off. It was a weird deal at the end. They get a penalty. I thought we should have gotten our timeout back. They said that we didn't. It was a long story, but at the end of the day, had we caught that a little bit earlier, I think we'd had a better chance. But we just put ourselves in too big a hole. That's the bottom line.
second half, Trey Simmons does go for over 200 yards passing, and again, he counts for the 3 touchdowns in that second half. He outscored them 21-0 in the second half. Just some of those numbers. Total offense, 420 yards for the Pioneers after the slow start, 363 for Catawba. And I liken to how you say that, we can't give up those explosion plays. They had a run of 61. They had a pass play of 81. They also had another 45-yard run, in that contest. So you're talking about 3 plays for Catawba and their offense, and they really took advantage of those plays.
Yeah, well, the first play, the 61-yard run should never happen. That was crazy. We expected that. We just had a guy kind of misfire a little bit there. And then we bust, and then that's what's the frustrating part. We had a third down on the 31-yard run that set them up for the field goal right before half. We've got a cover 2 on, which is tough, but we're supposed to be running like a play where we push them into the boundary, try to get the guy into the boundary. We set the front wrong, so now all of a sudden we're slanting to an open side field and running a sweep over there. Now the guy gets the corner and gets 30 yards. Those are the things that as a coach are driving me insane. We've got a young group at backer, and I think they're making mistakes that we haven't made in the last 3 or 4 years, and those are the things that are probably putting us behind the chains a little bit. But we just got to keep playing. That's all we can do, and we got to keep working hard. And they're a good group of kids. We just got to keep coaching them and hope they get better.
The Pioneers, Trey Simmons finishing 16 of 24, 205 yards. The 2 touchdowns in that contest. Slow start for Ivan, 10 of 23, 87 yards, and the 2 picks. Courtney Jackson, 11 carries, 75 yards on the day. And Trey Simmons with a rushing touchdown. Maurice Gamillion with a rushing touchdown. Needs about 42 yards now for his Pioneer career to go over 1,000, becoming the 13th Pioneer to rush for 1,000 yards in a career. Parham goes over 1,000 yards in his career with the 5 catches, 86 yards, and the touchdown. Maurice Gamillion with the receiving touchdown as well. Raynell Killian with 8 tackles. Jermaine Witherspoon, Craig Watts, and Delonte Jones, each with 5. And I think you talked about Delonte Jones, his progression of getting improving and getting better as one of those new guys for us.
Yeah, he played better. There's no doubt about it. And he's gotten a little bit better each week. He came in late. We signed him late, obviously, when we lost Ivan and those guys this summer. We had to go out and find an older guy to come in and replace him. He's a junior college guy, but he does have 3 years. But he is getting better. He's a good kid. He's trying awful hard. It's just that we have a lot of stuff that we do defensively, and it's taking him a little bit of time to catch on and catch up. He's just got to keep working on those things, but he's a hard worker.
Ken Avent and the Catawba Indians go to 5-2 on the season, and of course they missed 2 games with COVID. If they get the opportunity to play those games back against Wingate or even Limestone, you're talking about the possibility of a team that could be in that playoff push as well for Coach Curtis Walker and the Catawba Indians. But as it is, Catawba defeats Tusculum by a final of 31-28, and I guess just to, even a little bit more on that contest for the Pioneers. Again, 5 losses, all by 8 points or less this season. Again, very, very close, very, very competitive. And I expect that again this week with a Mars Hill team that has also put themselves in the position to be in the playoffs. And Coach Tim Clifton and Jimmy Urzua. This is a team that's offensively, again, they're skyrocketing offensively. And I think what you mentioned to me even last night, the fact that, this is a Mars Hill defense that's playing much better.
Yeah, I think that's, to me, the difference. They've always been good on offense. But I think defensively, they're holding people to like 305 yards. They're great against the run. And I think they're playing much, much better defensively. Multiple fronts, moving around, flying around. They're doing a good job on defense. Offensively, I think their offensive coordinator is one of the best guys in this league. He's super creative with what they do. You're going to see, it's a pro style. They've gotten away from what they did with Rucker, where they were in the gun every single play. They'll still get in the gun some, but it's a little bit more under center. Where they're going to really utilize their tight ends in a lot of different ways, bootleg throwbacks, different types of bootlegs, double passes, screens, reverse passes, all kind of things. So, we've been working on those already. Walk through that on Sunday. We'll really, try to get that done today a little bit more, and tomorrow and Thursday. The running game, you're really going to get inside and outside zones, what they love to do more than anything else. As far as that, they'll run a little bit of what I call, power no pull or kick or, play, depending on where that tight end will line up. But what they do a great job, because if you look at Azura, he's very interesting, is he's only completing 50% of his passes, but he's got 22 touchdowns and only 4 picks. So what Jimmy does is if it's not there, he just throws it away. Like, that joker throws more balls out of bounds than anybody I've ever seen. But I think what he does, if he doesn't like it, he's a guy that understands that, hey, it's okay to punt, but we just don't want to turn the football over. And I think, we've got to do a good job of mixing some things up, but not putting ourselves in bad situations by mixing them up. And I've got to be able to show him some different things without hurting our run fits and making us sound in what we're trying to get accomplished. And that's going to be the challenge this week on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, I think, handling all their pressures and movements and all the different things that they do up front, our offensive line will have to play awful well. But, we're just going to go out there and do what we do and try to be as good as we can, knowing that, they've got everything to play for, and we got nothing to play for, but we're very dangerous when you got nothing to play for. As far as we can really do about anything, and might see some of that this week.
Yeah, and I like the way you even addressed that about your team. There may not be that anything to play for, but this team doesn't believe that. I think this team believes they want to get better each and every game.
Well, we want to go out with a winning season, and the only way to do that is to win out. And our kids have played extremely hard all year. I don't want to anybody to misunderstand my comments right there in the fact that we're not going to make the playoffs, obviously, is what I was saying, and we can't win the conference. I think it's a big thing, though, to try to have a winning record for everything these kids have been through. From May on, up until May we were rocking along pretty good, and then from May on there's been a lot of things happen. Change is hard for everyone, and whether that be personnel, whether it be coaches, whether it be players, whatever the case may be. And I think they've handled it about as well as they can. Their effort is outstanding on a day-to-day basis. We just are a lot younger than I thought we were going to be. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a veteran team coming back, and then all of a sudden, 12, 13, 14 players, you don't have a veteran team coming back, and you have to play younger guys, and they're trying to thrust in the fire maybe a year earlier than I thought they were going to be.
The Pioneers and the Mars Hill Lions this coming Saturday from Mears Stadium at the Ammons Family Athletic Center in Mars Hill, North Carolina. There's a little bit of snow in the forecast here in the mountains of East Tennessee and western North Carolina. Yeah, you're going to love that. Got to have some snow when you play Mars Hill. And you can't be a Mars Hill game without a Carolina blue sky and freezing cold temperatures. Either way we go. You can join us on the Pioneer Sports Network. We'll begin at high noon, 12 o'clock, and then our kickoff will be at 1 o'clock. Senior Day at Mars Hill, North Carolina. For the coach, Jerry Odom, Dom Donnelly, Jessica Biggers, Jim Miller, I'm Brian Stayton. Until next week, go Pioneers.